Imagine this. You're deep in the rural Irish countryside. It is profoundly dark, profoundly quiet. No city glow, no traffic hum, just the wind sighing through the hills. And then, carried on that wind, a sound starts to build. A high, thin wail that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, all at once. So let's get right into it, because we all think we know the story, right? The horror movie creature, the screaming, skull-faced monster. But what if the original legend was something else entirely? What if that terrifying sound wasn't the threat itself, but a sign of something much, much worse to come?
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Her voice isn't a weapon, it's a message. It means a tragedy is already in motion. Now, you're gonna wanna stick with me through this, because by the end, we're gonna figure out what that ancient cry might actually be trying to warn us about, right here, right now.
Okay, so to really understand the Wailing Woman, you first have to get that in old Celtic folklore, the world was just full of signs. The wall between our world and the other world was super thin, and death rarely just showed up unannounced. It sent messengers first.
And this is what's so fascinating. The wail was just one part of a whole language of supernatural warnings. You might see a drag, like a meteor, streaking down over a particular house. You might hear 3 sharp knocks at your door when absolutely no one's there. You could even see a fetch, a ghostly double of someone who was about to die. All of these were omens, but the woman's wail, that became the most famous word in that entire chilling vocabulary.
So let's dig into that. How did this one specific sound, the sound of a woman crying somewhere out there in the darkness, rise above all the others to become a legend that still terrifies us hundreds of years later?
And right here, this is the absolute key to the whole thing. The sound wasn't meant to be aggressive. It was a lament. It was pure, unfiltered grief that was somehow arriving ahead of schedule. Think about that. It was an echo of a future sorrow, a supernatural mourning for a loss that hadn't even happened yet.
Okay, so before we get to the big reveal, I want you to pause for a second. What's your gut feeling here? Where does something like this come from? Is it a vengeful ghost? The echo of some ancient, forgotten human ritual? Or is it something else? Something woven into the very fabric of the Irish landscape? Go on, lock in your theory.
All right, it's time to pull back the curtain. The true source of the Wailing Woman isn't just one of those things. It's actually a powerful collision of 2 incredible ideas. One that is completely supernatural, and one that is deeply, profoundly human.
So first things first, the word banshee comes from the Old Irish bean sitha, and this is huge. It means woman of the fairy mound. She isn't a ghost, she's a fairy. And you can forget the tiny wings and glitter. The AOC of Irish myth were a powerful, parallel race of beings. They weren't just evil, but they were dangerous and you did not want to mess with them. The bean sitha was, in a way, their ambassador of sorrow.
And this is the connection that changes the entire story. Keening was a very real, very human tradition. At funerals, professional female mourners, called keeners, would perform this incredibly loud, ritualized wail of grief for the dead. The banshee's supernatural cry is a direct echo of this human ritual. So the real horror isn't some unknown monster. It's the familiar sound of our own grief, just showing up at the wrong time.
But here's the thing, this otherworldly cry wasn't for just anybody. The banshee's lament was actually a mark of high status, a supernatural sign that a family's roots ran deep into the ancient soil of Ireland.
Yeah, legend says her cry was only for the great Gaelic clans, the ones with names starting in O or Mac. Having a banshee was, in a strange way, a sign of nobility. It meant your bloodline was so important that the otherworld itself took notice when one of you was about to die, and it sent its own mourner to grieve with your family.
So, if the original banshee was this incredibly complex figure of grief and family and this otherworldly connection, how on earth did we get the shrieking, evil monster that we see in movies today? This slide just lays it all out perfectly. The traditional banshee was a messenger who warned you about death. The modern one is an attacker who causes death. Her cry of sorrow got twisted into a weaponized scream. There's actually an academic term for this, folklore-esque. It's what happens when pop culture grabs a piece of deep folklore, strips away all the nuance and cultural meaning, and just flattens it into a simple monster that's easy to sell. And that's really the final question, isn't it? We took this complex symbol of community grief and deep family heritage, and we turned her into an isolated, violent monster. It really makes you wonder if our modern stories show that we're more afraid of a random, sudden attack than we are of facing the shared, inevitable sorrow of loss. If you enjoy getting the real, complex story behind folklore like this, make sure you hit that notification bell and definitely subscribe, because in our next explainer, we're going to connect this very idea to another country's folklore. And trust me, the comparison is chilling. You are not going to want to miss it.